To start this month, Bitmap Books, the company behind Commodore 64, a visual compendium, have launched a Kickstarter project for another retro-focused volume, this one called ZX Spectrum, a visual compendium. As its name suggests, it takes a look at all the pixel art, box designs and magazines that the system spawned. It's already made its £20,000 target with money to spare, but you still have time to pre-order a copy and get all the backer exclusive trinkets when it's released in October this year, with a soft cover version setting you back £25 plus postage. In more good news, many of the team behind the much loved N64 platformers Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie have joined forces and launched a Kickstarter to create a spiritual successor called Laylee. The original funding aim was £175,000, but that was smashed in mere minutes, with the current total standing at over 1.7 million. A digital version of the game, which will arrive on PC, Mac, Linux, Wii U, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, will set you back £10 or £15 depending on which format you own. In other vaguely related news, the much less loved platformer Mr. Nuts looks to be getting a HD remix, if this newly created Facebook page is anything to go by. So that's good, I suppose. Unless you hate squirrels, of course. To round off things, Sega teamed up with art dealers Cook and Becker to create some quite spiffing art prints based around some of its most famous titles, including Streets of Rage, Golden Axe and Phantasy Star. Prices for these start at £75. To open this section, the Wii U's eShop received yet another batch of Game Boy Advance ports, including Mr. Driller 2, Mega Man 04 and Mega Man Battle Network 2. The service also received the excellent N64 RPG Paper Mario, as well as two lesser-known NES titles, Little Ninja Brothers and Flying Warriors. In comparison, things were a little quieter on the 3DS eShop, with 3D Thunderblade being the only retro offering. The PlayStation Network, on the other hand, saw a release of Final Fantasy X and X Part 2 HD Remaster for the PS4, with the PS3 receiving a trio of PlayStation 2 ports. These include Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, which contains GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas, then there was Star Wars Starfighter, and lastly Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. Finally, the Atari Lynx cult classic Chips Challenge has received a sequel, and it's by the original creator too. You can download it on Steam right now. The main news in terms of hardware this month is that Hyperkin's RetroN 5 system, which plays cartridges from a range of consoles, may have a new rival in the form of the Retro Freak. The system will be able to play SNES, Famicom, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Mega Drive and even PC Engine titles. A release date looks a long way off, but you can read more about this intriguing system by visiting the link in this video's description. Next up, RetroActive have released a new video of its Ultra HDMI for the N64 in action. It, as the name would suggest, provides HD output for the console. No news on when it might become available to the public just yet though. Last up, renowned console modder Vadu Amka revealed images of this quite stunning Zelda Ocarina of Time edition N64. You can marvel over more images of it by following the link in this video's description. First up is a physical cartridge port of the previously exclusive Neo Geo CD title Crossed Swords 2 for the Neo Geo AES and MVS. One of these will set you back a pretty penny though. Actually, make that several pretty pennies. Another physical cartridge homebrew release last month was for NES brawler Fighting Simulator World Champ. It's cheaper than Crossed Swords 2, but you'll still have to pay between $85 and $110 for a copy, depending on where you're based. To round things off, a demo of upcoming NES RPG The Legends of Aulia has been made available online, and Redux 2 has been announced for the Dreamcast. At this time, no release date has been given for either though. A trio of RPG fan translations this month, including Double Moon Densetsu for the NES, as well as Super Shell Monsters Story and Dark Half on the Super Famicom. Finally, there was the PlayStation horror title Clock Tower, The First Fear, which is an enhanced version of the Super Famicom title. That's all for this month then, but let me know what you think of this episode's news in the comments section below. You can also watch the history of one of the Game Boy Color's more intriguing titles by clicking the link on the left. But be careful, it's not a story for the weak of heart.
This nation will soon be mine!